Hey guys, how's it going? So this is our youth camp packet informational meeting. We usually, in the past, we've done meetings in person, but I thought that this might be easier for me just to email out a video explaining everything with the packet, and then if you have questions, you can call me, email me, text me, and we can answer those questions instead of trying to make y'all find a night to meet when we all have busy schedules. So in this email, you'll have a video. Also, there will be another link for the packet and everything in it. So I'm going to run through the packet real quick. And again, if you have any questions about this, or if I'm not clear, feel free to call me, email me, text me. So the front of the packet is going to look like this. It's going to have all our information on it. So it has where the youth camp is, which is Camp Zephyr. It has the dates, which is the 23rd through the 28th. It has the address for the camp. For some reason you need it, it's there. On this front sheet also, it has all the leaders that are going and their cell phone numbers. The reason we have that is we have a rule that we do not allow students to take their cell phones. And the main reason is we want them focusing on Jesus this week. I mean, you dropped a ton of money for them to go to this camp, so we don't want them caught up in any social media drama or just being on their phone instead of connecting with each other and with Jesus this week. So we ask you to be the first line of defense, and let your kids know, like, hey, give me your phone. Don't even bring it with you. If your kid has a reason that they need to have their phone, maybe they work and they need to be able to get on their phone on Tuesday or Wednesday to do their schedule, or there's a reason they need their phone, before we leave for camp, they need to come to me and give me their phone and say, I need it because of this, and I will hold their phone for them, and then I'll give it to them on that day to allow them to do that, whatever they need to do. Now, as far as calling home, y'all can call these numbers, these four people, anytime, and they will get the phone to your kid so that y'all can talk to them. Or if your kid wants to call home, we'll let them use our phone to call you. We will not let them call friends, but they can call you to tell them about their week or anything going on that they need to know about during that week that they're at camp. So that is why we do that with the phones. I will say, if your kid gives me their phone and for some reason it'll be in my book bag the whole week, if for some reason my book bag gets stolen, I'm not buying them another one. Just putting that out there. I don't make that kind of money, but I will hold it for them if they need it there for some reason. So on the next page, it's going to look like this, and it says trip schedule. This is just an itinerary of what we will be doing this whole week. So it starts out with Sunday at 8 a.m. We want the kids to arrive at the church. So the students need to arrive at the church Sunday at 8 a.m. to start checking in. We're asking them to come dressed for the beach because we're going to Corpus Christi that day to the beach. So guys need to wear their swim trunks and a shirt. It can be a tank top, flip-flops, whatever they're going to wear to the beach. Girls are going to have their bathing suits on, but put clothes over your bathing suit. Don't just show up in your bathing suit. That'd be weird. But dress accordingly. That have your beach towel all separate from your other stuff, which there's a packing list in here of how I should do that. So we will be there at 8. We will leave at 9. Don't think because it says 9 to show up at 8:55. One, we want to help the church prepare for that morning, so to help set up and to go over some things before we get ready to leave. There's some things that you're going to have to turn in, so we don't want to be doing that at 8:55. We hope by 8:45 that we're able to spend some time in prayer and before we leave at 9. So we'll leave at 9. We'll stop somewhere along the way for lunch. You will need to give your kid money for lunch that day, and then we'll arrive at the beach around 1. Spend the day at the beach. About 5 p.m. we'll leave the beach, go to the hotel we're staying at that night. You have the address of the hotel we're staying at that night. Then we'll shower and all that stuff, head back out to dinner. Again, they will be providing their own money for dinner that night. We're not going to go anywhere extravagant, so you know roughly what your kid would eat. I would say that there ain't going to be a meal that would cost more than $12 to $15. It could be as low as 6 or 7 if it's fast food. After dinner that night, depending on the time, the goal is to go watch a movie after that. Toy Story 4 will be out, so we're going to talk about going and see that. Again, they'll need money for that. And then we'll go back to the hotel and call it a night. On Monday, we'll get up. We'll let them sleep in. Breakfast is free at the hotel. Then we'll head towards camp. We'll stop somewhere for lunch, but they'll need to pay for that. and then we'll arrive at camp around 1. And so from Monday at 1 until Friday, it's camp. And there's a camp schedule in this package. You can look at what they're doing if you care to know. You don't have to know, but it's everything they're doing all week. So that's Monday through Friday. On Friday, though, we will head home. So we will leave camp about 9 a.m., headed back. We will have snacks for your kid. We will not stop for lunch. They will not need money for lunch on the way home, mainly because we want to get home. We're ready to get back, and we just don't want to stop. So we will have snacks for them to eat on the bus. They will not starve. We'll roughly get back to the church about 1 p.m. When we're about 30 minutes to 45 minutes out, we will have the students call you to let you know to head towards the church. And we encourage you to please try to be there either when we get there or shortly after, because for the adults, they've been gone all week. We still have to take the vans back. We still have to do those kind of things. So we're ready to go home too. So please try to be there as quick as you possibly can when we get back. The next page will look like this, and it has the camp information on it. So on this, it talks about a couple of things. First thing it talks about is theme nights. This is something they'll do Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. These are completely optional. Your student, and I'll talk to your student about this, not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday. This is completely optional of them. If they want to do this, wonderful. If they don't want to do this, that's fine too. I'm going to tell you, if I own some of this stuff, I'll probably do it, but I'm not going to go out and buy new stuff for theme nights. If your kid wants to, hey, knock it out. So Monday is Hawaiian luau night. So if your kid wants to buy a Hawaiian shirt, I'm sure I own one, so I'll probably bring it. Hawaiian luau, if you want to buy leis and all that stuff and make it a big deal, hey, knock yourself out. The church won't be providing those things. That is entirely up to the student. On Tuesday is 80s night and glow run. So they're dressing in 80s if they want to. The glow run is something they do after church. The luau will be after church that night, and the glow run will be after church. So if your kid has a desire to run in the glow run, they'll need to bring tennis shoes. Again, running in the glow run is optional. I will not be running in it. If you want to, great. That's awesome. And then Wednesday is country western night. I will probably not be dressing up for that because I don't own any country western clothes, and I'm definitely not going to go out and buy any. But again, if your kid has it or wants it, feel free. We would love to see them dress up for that. Every day we do rec. And so for rec this year, our color is green. So if they own green shirts, they can do green as much as they want to. If they want to dye their hair green, if they want to put on green face paint, if they want to paint their arms, if they want to wear a green shirt, if they want to wear green shoes, anything they want to wear green. Again, I'm not telling you to go out and buy green. They can still participate in rec. If they don't have green, wearing green isn't going to make that big of a difference. If you want to wear it, great. If you have it, I encourage you to bring it. And the color is green. I will tell you, and I think I'll bring this up again. The games can tend to be could be wet or messy. So I would encourage you, anything you're going to wear for rec, have the mindset don't wear your best shoes. Like if you have an older pair of shoes, I would encourage you bring those because they could get wet. And if you just at least have a second pair of shoes, clothes, they could get muddy. And like if you want to bring it home, that's great. I would encourage you to pack a trash bag to put that stuff in. Or if it's so old that you're like, it's muddy, I'm just throwing it away, that's great too. So that's kind of what the theme nights and the rec color again is green. And then at the bottom of this page, you can see is the schedule for the week at camp. If you or your student want to learn what's on there. On there, it does talk about breakout sessions. I did not post the breakout sessions. We will talk about those more next Wednesday. But they will basically, breakout sessions is every day they have 2 sessions they go to where they can pick the topic they want to study on for, I think it's 45 minutes. So it changes every day. So they will get to do those things. The next page looks like this. It is the packing list and for Sunday Fun Day and all week at camp. So this is how it works. This is mainly directed towards girls and me because I like to pack a lot of stuff. You are allowed one big bag, like one bag. So for Sunday Fun Day, these are the things that you'll need to go to the beach. We ask you to keep it out of your suitcase because I don't have to go through all the suitcase when we get to the beach. So for the beach, you'll need a beach towel, sunblock, and then the stuff that you want to travel with on the vehicle. So you might want your pillow, your blanket. You can bring snacks for the travel. I'm sure we'll stop somewhere for gas if you want to get it then. If you want to bring drink on these vehicles, we're asking only water, solely because we don't own these vehicles. We are borrowing these 2 vehicles, so we do not want to get any stains. So in the vehicles, it's only water. I will say this. I am not going to make 19 stops, so think about that when you buy your beverages. And then for camp, the things that you need to pack, the list is here, but I'll kind of go through it. You'll need your Bible. You'll need a notebook and pen just to be able to take notes all week. The bed you'll be on will be a twin bed, so you can either get bedding, like a fitted sheet and blanket and pillow if you want to go that route, or you can bring a sleeping bag, whichever way you would rather go. You'll need pillow. You'll need towels. You'll need bathing towels and swimming towels if you choose to swim, but besides just the beach. Like there's going to be a swimming pool there, so you'll need both those towels for the week. Clothes wise, you will need basically, I would say 2 outfits a day. You'll need something that you wear in the morning all the way up to rec, and most days when rec's over, you're going to hang out and play and stuff like that, and then you'll probably want to take a shower and then wear something different to service that night. It doesn't have to be nice. The camp does have a rule of modest clothing. We have a rule of modest clothing. So in other words, girls in particular, length of short matters. And I will tell you that the camp will send you back to the room to change. In years past, we have had girls that have to wear the same shorts all week because they only brought one that was long enough. No spaghetti straps at all. You can wear like the wide straps, but I would make sure they're wide. I would just tell you anything that you think that could, like if you look at it and you go, I don't know how they're going to feel about this, I probably wouldn't bring it. You need to make sure you dress accordingly for camp and that aspect alone. Swimwear. So girls, no, if you're wearing a 2-piece, you have to wear a shirt over it that is dark, not white, and is the length to cover your bottom. So there's that. Or you can wear a 1-piece, or you can wear a tankini that actually covers your midriff. Don't call it a tankini that still shows off your waist. They don't want that. They will tell you that's not going to happen. Boys, we want you to wear shorts. Naturally, no Speedos. It'd be really weird if you started wearing those. So there's that. And just so you know, going to and from the pool, you'll need to have, guys, you'll always have shirts on walking around, but you'll need to have those things on when you're not in the pool. But you can take your shirt off at the pool. Toiletries. So toiletries, you're going to need everything you need to get ready in the morning. Shampoo, soap, deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrush, brushes, etc. All those things that you use to make yourself look as fabulous as you look, you're going to need that for camp. So you need to make sure you pack accordingly. Girls, if you want to coordinate and go, hey, we're going to need a blow dryer, I'll bring the blow dryer, that's fine. You might not need 9 blow dryers for camp. One thing I would recommend is a refillable water bottle, some type of Yeti, whatever, because it's hot. Like camp is hot. You're going to want a bottle that you can constantly fill up water. They'll have water stations all over the camp. You're going to want a water bottle that you can fill up. So I would encourage you to purchase one of those or own one of those that can hook to your book bag. I would encourage you to bring a book bag to keep your Bible and your notebook in. I will have a book bag, but I would have a water bottle that can hook a carabiner to it to your book bag for the week. Hats. I would encourage hats. It's gonna, again, we're in Texas. It's gonna be hot. We're gonna be about 30 minutes from Corpus Christi. The sun's gonna be real. I would encourage hats. And then we talked about rec clothes. Our color is green. Again, I don't know what the games look like. You might want to pack clothes that if they get muddy or if they get wet or if whatever they use gets on it, you're not freaking out, because we do want you to play. Like, we don't want to go, well, my clothes are, I have my $200 shoes on, so I'm not playing. Don't bring those to rec. Have another pair of shoes for rec every day. Money-wise, let's talk about money. The money that you will need to bring is you will be buying 2 lunches, 2 dinners, and a movie. That's it. So I would say somewhere between $50 to $100 is necessity money. Then there's optional money. So optional money boils down to this. At camp, you can play paintball. It costs money. I do not remember the cost of paintball, but if you go to Camp Zephyr in Sandy, Texas, they have the price there. They have a gift shop where you can buy stuff in the gift shop. They'll have, like, the people that come and speak and the worship band, they'll probably have T-shirts and stuff like that you can buy. So they'll have merch that you can buy that will range from $10 to $20. I have no idea what the cost will be. And then they have a snack shack. So parents, you know your kids and you know what they'll need. I would recommend a little extra money because there's days that you just want to be able to get another snack. They will be provided 3 meals a day. We won't be providing anything else besides that, but you'll get 3 meals a day every day. So they do have a snack shack where if your kid is someone that gets hungry often and they need to go to the snack shack and get another snack, that's there too. So anywhere from between 50 to 100, your kid might be someone that you know eats a lot or whatever, and they're going to need more money than that. That is between you and your kid and how y'all want to play that out. My son is going, and I'm sure he is going to spend a ton. That's what he tends to do. So the last thing we need to go over, one of the last things we need to go over is, shh, son. My son's talking in the background. The last thing we need to talk about is church and camp rules. This is something we need to just go over. These are the camp and the church rules for camp. There are basically 9 of them. Granted, there's other things that could be covered under there, but we're just covering the basics. Number 1, no PDA. So as to my knowledge, right now, nobody in our group is dating. But if you go to camp and find the love of your life forever, they won't be that week. We're not going to be about holding hands. We're not going to be about kissing. None of that stuff. There's going to be no PDA on this trip. And just so you know, whenever we go to services, you'll sit with us. So if they are the love of your life, you'll get to see them very sparingly. Your parents did not pay for you to go to camp for relationships like that. So no PDA on the trip. The next thing is no electronic devices. So that, again, includes iPads, cell phones, laptops, iPods, anything that's electronic doesn't need to go. If there is a reason, we talked about the phone, you might need it for this reason. If there is a reason you need a computer, we have had students in the past that are doing an online class in the summer and they needed to take their laptop to be able to finish their class. If you have those reasons, you need to let us know ahead of time so we can know that and we can let you bring that. We'll keep a hold of that until it's time for you to do your class, and then you can do your class during those times. But don't just assume, well, I have this, so I'm going to bring it. No, you need to let us know before you ever come. Just so we know, and I'm saying as parents, I hope parents can ask for those items before they ever leave the house, so I don't have to be the bad guy. Xavier, Leslie, and Gabby don't have to be the bad guys and take those from them. But if we confiscate phones, iPads, any of those things, we do charge $25 confiscation fee, which goes to the church. Emmett thanks you for your contribution for your kid. And you might be thinking as a parent, well, guess what? Those are our stuff. When they get back, you're going to give it to me, and we're not paying. You're right. We'll do that. We'll give you that, and you don't have to pay. But here's the deal. Camp will come next year. And I'm just going to let you know, if we already had this issue, your kid's not going. And I don't mean that ugly, but we do this because I've been going to camp now for over 20 years as a kid and as a youth leader, and there is nothing good that happens with phones at camp. It is a distraction. The goal is for them to get everything out of camp they can. So I would encourage you, like, let's say your kid gets this phone take up and you don't want to pay the $25. I understand that. I wouldn't want to pay it if it was my kid either. So why don't we talk about a way they can work off that $25? That sounds like a great idea. There's plenty of things we can have them do to work off that $25 to get their electronics back. But there are no electronics. Another rule we talked about, wear modest clothing. We are very big on that. We will send your kid back to the room. We will not allow that. Rule number 4, bring an attitude of respect and patience. When there's a group going, we just have to have that attitude. And we expect that towards everyone of all ages, especially your leaders. Rule number 5, no pranks. I am big on this. I do not want pranks. I do not allow it. It never ends well. I am not a fan of it. I'm telling you now, parents, if you see your kid packing shaving cream and he's never shaved a day in his life, know that he's doing that for a prank and take it from him. Do not let your kids bring stuff for pranks. I will send your kid home over pranks. Like, I don't play with that at all. I've seen kids get hurt by pranks and never come back to church, and it's a very serious thing to me. The next thing is follow directions from all adults. We expect that from all of our students, whether it's the adults of our church or another church. If you come across a adult that is not us and they tell you to do something and it's opposite what we said do it, come talk to us, and then I'll handle it. Or X will handle it, or Miss Lisa will handle it. Miss Leslie will handle it, or Gabby will handle it. But do it first for them. Next rule, no being in a person's room of the opposite sex, whether at the hotel or dorm room. So let me be real clear on this. If you get caught in a girl's dorm room at camp, they're sending you home. And there's nothing I can do about it. Like, I can't fight for you. I can't argue for you. It's a non-negotiable. You will go home. However, the night before we go to camp, when we're in the hotel, if you were caught in the girls' room, or girls, you're caught in the boys' room, and you weren't sent there by an adult, you're going home. Like, we will not play with that at all. There's no reason for you to be in those rooms. The only reason you would ever even be in their room is if you were directed by a counselor to go in that room for some reason, which is not going to happen. Next thing, no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or paraphernalia of any sort. That should go without saying. All of those things will get you sent home. And the last one is no fighting, verbally or physically. We don't want the arguing and all that stuff, but we definitely don't want physical fighting of any sort. Again, I'm not expecting these to be an issue, but we just go over them ahead of time. If any of these rules are broken, we will address them accordingly and could lead to a student being sent home. If your student is sent home, the parent of the student is responsible for getting their student home, whether you come pick them up or pay for transportation for them to get home. So in other words, if you don't, like, you're so mad if I come pick them up, they might not make it home, we will take them to the bus stop if you paid for a bus. We'll even take them to the airport if you're going to, if you want to pay for that, we'll take them to the airport and they can get on the airplane. But it is your responsibility to get them home that day. And let me be clear, like, I would hate for any of that to happen. In 16, 17 years of ministry, I've sent one student home and it was horrible. I hated it. It ruins so much things. But if there's a reason your kid has to go home, they have to go home that day, because the longer they're there, the longer it lingers. It becomes the focus and not the camp. Again, we will address it accordingly. A lot of these rules, like if we catch them on the phone, we ain't sending them home. But there will be consequences to any rule that's broken. So at the bottom of that page, there's a place where the parent signs and the student signs. You can sign that ahead. If you want to print that and sign it ahead of time, feel free. Or we will have some of those printed and waiting on you at church the morning we leave, and you can sign it there as well. It'd be easier if you brought it ahead of time, but either way, we can do it. The last page we need to cover is this. This is the legal liability page for students. So on here, you'll fill this out saying that you give us permission to take your kid. And below it talks about a medical release, and where you'll fill that out. And then if you'll fill it out ahead of time, or you can fill it out that morning, we'll have some there. Leslie can notarize it that morning at the church. So we'll have them notarized that morning. For parents that have students that have medication that needs to be taken daily. I'm not talking about Tylenol and stuff like that. And hear me say this, at the camp, they want all medicine turned in. If your kid, you feel like, is old enough to take Tylenol on its own, that's between you and your kid. I don't have to know about that. But they're not supposed to have medication with them at camp. There are some kids that have regulation things that need to be taken, and we encourage you to fill those paperwork out. And I think all of you did that had that, because if something happens to your kid at camp, they will get doctors involved, and they need to know your kid's background on that stuff so they can plan for it accordingly. So if your kid is taking medication at camp, you will need, one, we need this page for us. So when we go to the hospital with them or whatever is wrong, if something gets serious, we have the medical forms until you're able to get there. But on that page that you filled out for camp, and I'll have it printed out, there's these things that say they need this at this time, whatever. You need to put their medicine in the prescription bottle. Don't put it in a different bottle. Keep it in the prescription bottle, in a Ziploc bag. You'll give that to Leslie when we get to church on that Sunday morning. She'll store them when we're at Corpus Christi the night before. She'll make sure those kids get the medicine. And then the next morning we will turn those in at camp, and then we'll show them where they go. And every day they will go to that spot at camp and take their medicine. I will tell you, we will do our best to remind them to take their medicine. But we also, they're teenagers. We hope that they remember, I got to go take my medicine, and remind us so we can take them over there to get their medicine too. So that's everything I have to say about the forms. Feel free to ask questions. We don't leave, not this Sunday, but the next Sunday. We are excited. We've been praying for this. We hope you're praying for your student and the other students, and even the adults, to have something great from God. I would encourage you to watch this with your students so y'all both hear the same thing. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you again for allowing your students to go with us. We are excited about this, and can't wait to talk about how God works that week. Goodbye.